No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way. Well, this is Jersey Joe.
It doesn't.
Reaver After Dark.
Tonight,
Want the backheads to give you a blessing?
8 p.m. on shrmedia.com. Was an extremely great conservative commentator.
Classified my ass!
Government is another way to say better than you.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
Welcome to the Reaver After Dark Show with your host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash. The Reaver After Dark Show is every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. Now we have something new up and running. If you want to support the show, if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store. Get yourself a T-shirt, coffee mug. We even have Reaver jerseys and SHR Media jerseys. Just in time for the taxes. You can spend your tax money and get a couple shirts. How you doing, Crash?
You were getting ready to say Christmas.
Yeah, I was.
You too can own your very own Jersey Joe jersey.
Oh, God. So, right, it seems like we're going to hell in a handbasket in this country.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a little story. I thought it was funny. There was a liberal, and they were bashing Trump and bashing a lot of things, and this liberal said you can't vote for Trump. He has an investigation for inciting a riot. He should not be allowed to run for president. So my response, of course, back was, so you're saying by your logic, Hillary can't run. She is underneath investigation from the FBI. There is something like over 200 agents not only investigating the email, they're investigating her Clinton Foundation. And there's one other one I've heard popping up here and there about an investigation going on. Guess what the response was?
Silence.
Yep.
Did you see I can't remember where it was at, but an anti-Trump protester. Actually, no, I think she was specifically BLM. I believe it was either her or the person directly behind her was holding a BLM sign.
Oh, this is in Wisconsin the other day.
She gets into it with this older guy,
yeah,
and they're going back and forth, arguing, debating, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other thing. She starts accusing him, I guess, of like pushing her or touching her,
grabbing her breast.
So she sucker punches him, and somebody maces her head square in the face.
Well, it's funny. You go to conservative sites, and it's woman punches man gets maced. You go to liberal sites, women gets maced for protesting Trump. The woman even admitted that she deserved to get mace.
Watch the video. That's honestly the best thing I can tell anybody to do. I watched multiple different uploads of it, and in one of them, there's one of them that's more far back. You can actually see like the cops going after her and like escorting a couple of people out that were, inciting this, and they were all BLM. And then there was another angle that got her walking away after she was maced. And I swear, I played it a couple of times because I thought I heard it. She said, "I deserve that."
Yeah.
It was kind of like one of those in-passing statements that people make. It's like that subconscious statement, because all of a sudden, their conscience actually kicks in. Essentially, she admitted it. She admitted that she deserved what happened to her.
Well, not
but, she'll sue him.
Well, she'll try and she'll fail. I mean, everything's on video where she sucker punches the guy. There's no video of him touching, and there's video of prior to that whole dispute happening, and nobody was touched. Maybe somebody brushed up against the girl. The best was a liberal site is underage girl gets maced.
Okay. Well, first of all, she had a set of quadruple Ds. I mean, she was I'm not making fun of her. She was a very well-endowed woman. In a crowd that is pushing and shoving to get a better position in some place, yes, it'd be pretty much impossible not to bump into one of her boobs, just the same as it'd be impossible for somebody not to hit bump me. But it doesn't mean it was done on purpose or
exactly
with malice.
It's liberals trying to start trouble. So I got it. Also, I got Jan, the big boss of High Plains Pundit. And I thought it was Dan. I said, hey, Dan, and she corrected that it was the big boss, Dan. I said, hey, I better be good tonight. You're here. And her response was, Joe, be good? That would ruin the show. I've never met the woman before, and she already knows my
personality?
Yeah. Thank you, Jan. That just gave me a great laugh tonight. Well, that also, people are going after Trump because he won't fire his campaign manager or suspend him because he's under investigation, has been charged with a misdemeanor because of he put his hands on a reporter after Secret Service. That's the funny thing. It's being popped up. The Secret Service warned her to get away, to stop going up there. She also put her hands on Trump, but that's okay. But the video shows she wasn't thrown to the ground or violently thrown back. She was pulled back. Hey, you can't be here. And on they went.
Wasn't she also, if I remember correctly, isn't she the same one that's got one heck of an extensive history of making accusations?
Yes, that's coming out.
Assault, battery.
Sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just came out, I saw today.
Yep. So, here was one. This was an interesting one. It was a YouTube video that a guy had done. And it was he labeled it social experiment. He had two different signs.
The Bernie and the Trump?
All they were. Did you see that?
Yep. That was funny.
That was hysterical. That was so. He got assaulted. He got physically assaulted twice. He had a water bottle thrown at him. He was getting cussed out nonstop. But as soon as he put up the Bernie sign, Trump supporters
left him alone.
They walked right by him. If they said anything, it was, "No, I'm voting for Trump."
Yeah.
And he kept with the exact same push of, "You feel the burn, feel the burn." He pushed the exact same way with both signs, but the Trump supporters just walked on by. They let it go.
The only violence that I really see coming is from the anti-Trump protesters, and I don't even want to call them protesters because people being paid to do this are not protesters. That's a paid. That's a merc in any which way you look at it. All right. Yes. Has there been one or two incidents where fans or supporters, and that's what is going on in this country. There's people that are so pissed off with what's going on today that they've been pushed to this point. I mean, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying we should go to violence, but unfortunately, people are that pissed off and tired of the liberal agenda and the liberal bullshit that they pull, and one of them is these protests and causing problems to interfere with other people's civil rights and Bill of Rights, but yet they want their cake and eat it too, and I'm getting tired of it too, and it's not I'm condoning, but I don't blame these people for lashing out during these rallies. But the only ones that are getting violent are the Bernie Sanders supporters. But the media plays it in a totally different spin.
That is the one thing. Actually, I will play devil's advocate. There was one person in that social experiment video, and she did say, and all she said was, so he's like, "You voting for Bernie?" "No, I'm voting for Clinton." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." She's like, "It's okay," and just kept on going. Yeah. She kept on her way. So it's not even specific. So I'm not even going to go down the road of saying it's the liberals it's all liberals that are doing this.
Well, there's Hillary supporters that are that rabid.
Well, there are. I mean, but if you just go off the context of that experiment, it was one specific type of supporter. Mm-hmm. Well, but then again, we also don't know the people that were getting violent towards Trump. They could have been Clinton supporters. we don't know that. So
right.
there is that.
It's one thing that I got to give credit, and I was going to go to, and we kind of deviated a little bit, which, hey, shit happens.
Yeah.
I actually give Trump credit, because everybody in today's atmosphere, including what happened to my wife, is as soon as someone has an accusation, whether there's proof or not, everybody dumps them immediately and runs away from them. They're afraid to support people nowadays. They're afraid to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do nothing until they're found guilty. For those that don't know, my wife got accused of a crime. She was fired from her job. But guess what? All the charges were dropped.
I forgot
And
about
her
that.
company, who said it, once everything's all done and said with, if you get the charges dropped, come back and talk to us. And now they blow her
That's
off.
BS. You're guilty until that's. Honestly, I don't get how that's even legal. That's an automatic presumption of guilt.
Yeah, but the problem
And
is,
that
it's not in the laws that we are presumed innocent. It's actually just the saying there's nothing in definitive writing that says, by our laws, you are innocent until proven guilty. And companies, well, also Florida is a right-to-work state. So
It's right to work. It is, and so is New Jersey. But they are both at wills. But there is a slight loophole. It's tricky. But if there is specific, and I mean it's got to be dead set, specific reason for termination, and you can completely prove that justification that was given is BS.
well, the problem is, hold on, they never gave my wife a reason.
And now that's where they win. See, now I won. It was never a lawsuit. It was just a small severance package. But I won that in the state of Florida because the person that terminated me was so pissed, and she hated me so much that I challenged her. Even when she fired me, I still pushed her button. So she said,
No,
"You're
not
fired."
you.
I said, "For what?" I just asked her, "For what?" She gave me a very specific reason. I was able to counter it on the spot, and I was able to provide proof that her reason could not be the reason I was being fired, because it never occurred. And the person that was there to witness the termination for legal purposes even told her, "You just fucked up. I'm going to go take him down to HR to fill out the severance paperwork." Even the HR lady said, "That's the first time this has happened in years."
Well, the one thing
because we are always so careful never to do that. She really hated you.
Well, the one thing that pissed me off with this company is we're hurting for money. We're having trouble with house payments, so we went to All right. When we went to apply for some help with payments on our mortgage, because there's several programs we can go through, and one of them we said would get approval, but we need to prove that she was not terminated for, things that were her fault. She stole money, she was late constantly. So we contacted her company again and said, "Listen, can you just send this to them? We need a reason that it was it wasn't her fault that she was released." "No, we know your situation. We don't care. That's your problem." So Orkin, fuck you. I do not like Orkin Pest Control. And yes, I will call them out on the radio. I don't mind. They screwed my family over. This is the truth. Their attorneys refused to give an answer and justification. And that pissed me off that they wouldn't.
Hey, don't feel bad about calling them out. Okay, I've actually used their services. Never liked them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're all bad, but I know the one I dealt with in Florida.
Yeah.
The best way I could put it is shyster.
Well, this came from corporate because the general manager didn't know what to do, and he contacted corporate over every little thing, and I think that guy was a little... But on a different note, my wife's at the YMCA right now. My daughter's taking judo for free through the YMCA. So my wife's on the treadmill right now.
Now she can kick your butt with even more efficiency.
Exactly.
Good job.
I know, 12-year-old that can kick my butt. She can go at it, and I mean, she can take a punch from me. But my wife is on the treadmill right now, and I get a text. Hang on, I get a text because the Flyer game is on right now, and she's sitting there on the treadmill watching the Flyers game.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, dude, that video that you posted of that game-winning goal. Oh, that was beautiful. I think I watched that like 10 times.
Which one? Would Ghost and Giroux?
Yep.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Ghost snagged it.
Dove.
He did a spin around real quick. Did a wrist shot. Bounces off the goalie's shoulder into the corner of the net. Game over. I must have watched that like 10 times because I couldn't see the game.
Yeah, I know you haven't been able to watch the games a lot. Now,
beautiful.
The year hasn't started out that great again. Some injuries on defense happened. Ghost got called up because, well, he's young and he hasn't. They were trying to slowly develop him. They didn't want to ruin him, so they brought him up just while that guy was out on defense, and he just played so great. They turned around. They said, "We can't send this kid back down." Ever since he came on, we still have our issues with the team. I mean, it's still rebuilding from when Holmgren screwed up the Flyers. But he has turned that team around. They started winning games, and right now we are in the playoffs because of that kid. But what Giroux said he was
been rebuilding since the 70s.
Well, Giroux said he was so tired because they played 4 West Coast games in 6 days, then came home day off and played that game. He said he was so tired at the end of it. The only thing he could do was raise his arms and just slide into the glass. He said he couldn't do anything else to celebrate the goal.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was like, I was too tired.
And everybody jumping all over him, going nuts. He just face plants.
Well, the thing was, Detroit had won their game, so they had to win to stay tied with Detroit, and they got the tiebreaker for the last wild card spot. So it was pretty important that they had to win. But tonight we're playing Washington Capitals, and they just won the President's Cup for the most points, I think it is.
Okay.
So that they're top ones in the league. But I don't know if they're going to play hard because Washington Capitals, I mean, they're locked up. And there's still, 7-8 games left of the season? Do you really care what happens? They're locked up, home ice, number 1 team. No one can catch them.
Yeah, I mean the only reason to play hard at that point is going to be either one
spoiler,
just for the team's record and just to be able to build bragging rights later on. But on the flip side, do you want to burn everything out going into the playoffs?
Do you want to risk injuries?
Yeah. Or do you want to just, say, you know what, we're in. Let's, we'll key it down a little bit. We won't push it. We won't take the big risks. And we'll be refreshed, ready to go when the playoffs start, and we'll kick the crap out of everybody else.
Exactly. And the way it looks, it could actually wind up being Flyers versus Capitals round 1. The way it's set up right now, if it ended today, that's the way it would be.
Hey, quick question. When did we start incorporating a sports segment into this?
I have no idea. I was wondering the same thing, but you know what? We're both Flyers fans. People can deal with it. Because that's the only hockey team that matters. Am I wrong?
Absolutely not.
I have no idea, but it just somehow we got turned around onto that, but hey. All right, we're going to go take a break. We're about 30 seconds early. Then we'll jump in.
Your wife's text message.
Huh?
Your wife's text message did it. Your wife's text message, that started it.
That's right. It's my wife.
We can blame it on her.
Well, I'm wondering how she's able to see over the treadmill to see the TV as she's on it.
They started putting the treadmills in there that they use for animal rehabilitation that are really low. They don't really have to have the handrails.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So that's how she sees over it. Thank God she's not listening, otherwise she'd kick my ass.
She would like to kick mine. You compared me to a what?
Oh, God. All right. With that note, you're listening to the Reaver After Dark Show with the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on hppundit.com and SHR Media. We'll be right back after this message.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver After Dark Show with your host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash. The Reaver After Dark show is every Wednesday, 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to support the show, or if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store. Pick up a t-shirt, coffee mug, Reaver jersey, SHR Media jersey, many other items to choose from. But we're not selling any jets. Was that a jet, or did you have to expel some gas?
No, that was a low fly, military. They've been doing a lot of flyovers at night. Some of them they run low like that. I'm actually surprised it wasn't a tandem.
I've had questions because I am very close to MacDill Air Force Base. And the one thing I've noticed is they've been doing a lot of practices over populated areas. I thought that was against the rules. I know I've talked to pilots in the past, and they said they're not allowed to practice over populated areas.
Well, see, the thing is, though, now there is to an extent, from what I know, and I also believe it depends on what the type of practice is. The problem is where I am geographically, I'm between two Air Force bases, and I'm right on the edge of a massive state forest, which they've always used for training.
Well, yeah, that's not populated, right?
But because I'm on the edge of it, and the runway's on the other side of me, the only way for them to get to point A to point B, they got to fly over my house.
All right, for my area, think of a population like Trenton is next to me at Tampa, and then my town is almost exactly like Lawrence. We got the population in one area, and some areas we have the farmlands, but it's not that unpopulated. We have a high population, and they're doing practice runs over our houses. And they said they're practicing for the Middle East. And not too long ago, they had an accident where a jet crashed over a populated area. I don't think it was Florida, but they were doing one of those practice runs, and it crashed into a populated area. Because I was told that's why they can never do it, just because of the fact if something happens, they're going to crash into houses. But,
well, you remember years ago there was the incident in Jersey. What was it? A flare misfired, and it caused a forest fire.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They had a discharge of a flare or chaff or
premature
something like that.
Flare.
Well, it wasn't. According to the Air Force, it was not a rocket.
But a premature flare.
It was flare chaff.
That joke's going right over your head. All right, you said you wanted to talk about a couple things tonight. You wanted to get something off your chest. Besides the furball.
Anything. I wanted to rant. There's a difference.
Oh, you're going to do a crash rant? Crash rant just doesn't match up. Reaver rant, yes. Crash rant, no. All right, go ahead.
All right, actually, I got two things for you. Number one, sure, seen it in the news, the whole thing in Arizona. I think we talked about it already. They protested by shutting down a road.
Okay.
That's not a protest. Okay. That's disruption. I mean, that's not a peaceful protest.
No.
Okay, protesting is standing on the side. Yeah, slowing traffic down, bottlenecking them. Okay,
Still.
I can maybe even buy that. But completely shutting it down, and the method you use is by chaining people to vehicles.
That don't even live in that state.
I got two big problems with this. What's that?
Don't even live in that state.
Yeah. Okay, they went there with that purpose. Okay, Now, in that area, in a lot of areas, out of the Southwest, out in the West, a lot of rural areas, you only have certain main roads that feed in and out. That's it. To go around, one of those roads gets shut down, the detour is not 30 minutes. You can be talking hours. Now, somebody trying to get home from work, yeah, that could be a problem. Somebody trying to get to work, trying to provide for their family, that's a problem. Okay? Now, I brought up the thing about what if there was an emergency? Oh, well, they already have their own resources in the towns. No, it's called mutual aid response.
No, I'm going to stop. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, Crash, real quick. Because in Chicago, a week before Arizona, they interfered and blocked 2 ambulances that were lights and sirens trying to get to help somebody that got injured. In that incident, they had people that were shot in Chicago from people protesting, and it wasn't the Trump, it was the anti-Trumps. One of the kids got shot, and they were blocking the ambulance from life-saving. Those people should have been arrested and charged with attempted murder right there.
Well, now, here's my thing. Now, yes, I agree with that. My opinion is don't just charge them with interfering with traffic. Don't charge with this misdemeanor crap. Any incident that can be tied back to that, somebody lost their job, okay, somebody couldn't get to the doctor and ended up having a heart attack, an ambulance couldn't get through, and
didn't the liberals want that done to Chris Christie?
Every single one of those things should be taxed onto that. Yeah, they tried doing that against Chris Christie in New Jersey because they said, the helicopter wasn't available for a medevac flight because he was using it to go to a baseball game.
No. The closing of the lanes up north, there was an ambulance that got delayed because of the traffic, and someone actually ended up dying, but the family stood out and said, listen, he was actually dying.
Okay, you're talking about Bridgegate.
Yeah.
That was Bridgegate, yes.
And
they sued him.
Yeah.
And it's so double-edged. I mean, look at the charges that were laid against the Oregon protesters. Okay, interfering with, what was it?
Interfering with a police officer. Yeah.
During the commencement of their duty through threats of violence and or force. I'm sorry, what are these protesters doing?
Yeah.
They're actually using violence.
Yeah.
But they're not getting charged with that. They're not being charged with conspiracy. They're not being charged as terrorists. Yet the guys that sat in a wildlife refuge are.
Yeah, the ones that walked in and just sat down and took over. Yeah, it does not make sense, and that has me pissed off all to hell. Liberals can do whatever they want, and the conservatives get screwed over.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's ironic. I could have gone to Oregon and could have walked up to that refuge and just told, look, I'm here in peace. I just want to know your guys' side of it. Yes, I'm a liberal. I'm just curious. I mean you no harm. And you know what? I bet my life they'd let me in and they would have talked to me.
They were letting anybody in.
They wouldn't have, you know what? They would have just sat down and had a conversation. They probably wouldn't have wanted me to stay too long. They probably would have asked me to leave. But that would have been it. They would have accepted the invitation. Whereas if I walk into a BLM meeting, I'm a Trump supporter. Well, I better be wearing flak gear.
Yeah.
And that might not be enough. I mean, they've proven it.
Well, they also found another ad. And for the Wisconsin rallies that just went on and are going to be going on over the next couple of days, they're offering to pay $3,500 for 1 day's work of protesting. $3,500 to interfere with people's Bill of Rights, for people's right for free speech.
You know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. And I can guarantee you I'll be on the news and everything else because I will be the only mime protesting. And not telling me how to do it. I'll take the $3,500. I could use that right about now.
There's a lot of information floating around that during the Ferguson riots that they were being paid $5,000 a month to be there.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
There is a sign-up for, as the weather gets warmer, what they're calling Democracy Summer, where they go to Washington, D.C. They have to sign forms that they won't be violent, but they want 5,000 people to get arrested in Washington, D.C. Their whole purpose is to go get arrested during these protests in Washington, D.C. That doesn't make sense to me. But their plans are to get arrested.
Does this make any sense? I don't get it.
Well, I'm telling you, 7 years ago, we woke up in bizarre world. I'm telling you.
The thing that scares me the most is these are the people that are going to be running things when we retire.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's actually truly what scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, these are going to be the people in charge, and that's, to me, that is an exceptionally frightening prospect. It's exceedingly frightening, actually.
God, Lord help us. That's a frightening statement within itself. I mean, if we look at it, the hippies of the '60s and the revolution of the '60s, those are the ones that are running our country now. Those are the ones that are causing all these problems, and they're creating a new breed of destructionists.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Why?
I didn't even think of that.
Why were the people in Burns, Oregon, arrested and one murdered, which now they're investigating that heavily, and there's a lot of questions of who actually did the shooting and who... There's a lot of questions, and not from conspiracy theorists. Government officials are now looking into testimony, and nothing's adding up on that incident. But you have, what's his name? He's in the 60s. He did several bombings. He's one of Obama's good friends. His wife is a professor. She was part of the bombings that killed thousands of people in the United States. But these two are up there helping mold the minds of the youth and running the country.
Bacon, hey, stop for a second. Mute me for 20 seconds.
All right. It is totally off the wall that we have people that are running this country that murdered police officers in the 60s, and that's perfectly fine. And it's ticking me off that I can't remember that guy's name. It is totally annoying me. What the heck is his name? And it seems I've lost Crash for a moment. Tom something. Tom Ayers, I think it is. You know, he bombed police and all that in the 60s, killing Americans, killing his fellow Americans because he didn't like certain things that were going on. And now we have people who are, they're armed. Everybody's armed out west in Oregon and all that did a protest. They were on their way to see a sheriff, and they knew they were unarmed, and they murdered one of them. The other people in the vehicle were being fired upon and couldn't even surrender because every time they tried to surrender, they opened fire on these people. It's absolutely crazy. Well, we're going to take another early break. That's way hopefully I can get a hold of Crash again during that break. It blows my mind with a lot of what's going on, and that we're heading in a bad place in this country. We're heading in a bad place. And someone said to me a little bit ago that their stance is they support the GOP presidential nominee, but the anti-Trump people have lost their fucking minds. And that's pretty much dead on. And it's getting worse and worse in this country. I thought we can get this country back. I thought we can get it straightened out. I think this country's too far gone. And that scares me. You're listening to the Reaver After Dark with your hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on HP Pundit Radio, and SHR Media. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying calf for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. Wrong buttons, wrong buttons. Welcome back to the Reaver After Dark show with your hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash. Remember the
Reaver After Dark show is every Wednesday, 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. If you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and click on the Reaver store. Pick up a t-shirt, coffee mug, hell, pick up a Reaver jersey or an SHR Media jersey. Either way, there's tons to choose from and more added every week. And one last little thing, don't forget.
Actually, you're talking about doing one for this show.
Yes, well, I got to get a design done, a logo done for the show. I would put you in charge of it.
Well, I was just bending over to take a selfie of my butt.
Oh, God, I don't want to make people throw up now.
Let's just clarify something really quick. It's not Jersey Crash. I have crashed things in multiple states, so do not limit me to just one, okay?
Well, you just want to make it hard, don't you? You want to make it difficult. Why you? Actually, all right, stupid trivia, and then we'll go on to the last subject. Actually, two things I got to go over. Did you know there was one episode of The Three Stooges that had all four Stooges in it, and Curly had hair?
God.
There was one.
I've heard that before.
There was one episode where Curly isn't playing Curly. He is an extra on a train, snoring away with his hat on his face. They walk up, pull the hat off, hear the snoring. No, that's not him, and put the hat back. He makes a small appearance. Just stupid trivia.
And the thing is, most people don't realize that it wasn't just three. It wasn't the same Three Stooges. Most people think that the Three Stooges, it was just the exact same three guys for the entire thing.
No, there was, five?
More stupid trivia.
Yeah.
So what's your second thing?
Well, don't forget, every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the Reaver of Common Sense with me, Jersey Joe. Not only can you listen to it on SHR Media, you can listen to it through HB Pundit Radio, but you can also go to Reaver.one and watch a live broadcast of the show. We are streaming a live video of the show, so I can scare the living crap out of people with this mug. All right, go on to your last point.
Well, it's something that's not new. It's been brought up plenty of times, and it keeps recirculating. Well, it's gaining a lot of traction again, and it's this whole thing with transgender. Now, don't take this the wrong way. Somebody's personal choice is their personal choice. Well, okay, my opinion is personal choice is personal choice. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's what you identify as, what your sexual preference is, what you choose to eat or not eat, drink, not drink, drive, not drive. I really don't care. Your personal choice, and that's the whole thing. Personal choice.
Can I identify with being a billionaire that has unlimited amount of money at his access?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, that's what I want to.
And what's really chapping my ass is this is going way beyond stupid, and that's really what's pissing me off. And as much as I really hate quoting her, there are times where she does get something right. Hillary Clinton, quote, this is what she said: "We cannot allow the minority of people," and that's who they are, the minority, to terrorize the majority of people. Well, okay, terrorism, hard to define in all reality, because everybody kind of has their own little definition of it, and it really depends on what you're going to base it up against. Beyond that, let's just say harass. Let's remove, because everybody overuses terrorism anyway. Let's remove that. Let's just say harass. Okay. Now, I venture to say there's a lot more Second Amendment people in the country than there are transgender. Yet, the transgender community has more rights than pro-Second Amendment does. So, please explain that to me, candidate Clinton. How does that make sense in your world? Now, if somebody wants to say, I was born a boy, I identify as female, I'm living my life as a woman, and I've had gender reassignment surgery, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, if you got the equipment, hey, you can park in that space.
Yeah, but I have another thing that I want to bring up, because they want to do that, and they don't want anything showing that they were once a male. Well, what about on medical?
where there is certain things that only happen to males and not females, and vice versa. There runs into an issue right there.
Well, now, see, the thing is, not getting it. I'm not taking it as far as that. At least not in this context. Because I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right.
I don't care how you live your life, but when they sit there and say that a baby, they get to decide what the baby's going to be, not what tools they have when they're born. That's where I say, well, wait a minute.
That's the genetics. And you know what? And you know what? In all reality, genetics does trump all. We've seen it in the field. Somebody doesn't want to tell us where they came from. Well, hey, guess what, people? There are certain diseases that are more prominent in certain areas of the world. There are certain ethnicities that are more predisposed to certain things. Now, if you don't disclose that, if you identify as a Caucasian woman from Ontario, well, I'm ruling out anything that an African-American male from South Africa would be predisposed to, because it shouldn't exist in your genetic makeup. It shouldn't be there, because according to you, you were never there. But now all of a sudden everything goes haywire in medical treatment. But why? You just prolonged your own medical treatment. You're now you're causing your own pain and suffering, but I'd be goddamn willing to bet you turn around and sue my ass.
Well,
you turn around and sue me for medical malpractice. And
what about the fact?
I have a problem with it on that side of it. Where this was really coming from tonight, though, is there was a discussion on the radio.
Real quick, let me make a point. Let me make a point, because it's on that medical, and then you got the rest of it, all 5-6 minutes. What about when it comes to chest pains and cardiac issues? Which one do we act quicker on, a male or female that says they're having some kind of pains in the chest? Which ones do we point to saying cardiac events?
Specific chest pain?
Yeah, male or female. Who are we going to believe quicker? Someone over the age of 35 complaining of chest pain. Which one has the better chance of actually having a heart attack?
Male patients suffering from a heart attack present more traditionally with the chest pain,
right?
And
but females,
down the left arm. Females usually present more with a nondescript.
But if they say they're in pain,
jaw pain.
But if they say they're in pain, having chest pain, it's more holy shit if a woman's saying they're having pain because their body's built differently to withstand pain better than men are because of childbirth and so forth. Now, if you're transgender, you can throw your treatment off right there.
Absolutely.
All right, you have the rest for the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, what ended up happening was they were talking about there's new legislation that was being put through. You know, you can't discriminate against somebody based on what they identify as. Well, the state turned around and says, okay, well, here's a legislation at our level that says your outward equipment dictates what restroom and what locker room you can use. Now, I can see both sides of it, and I will play the devil's advocate. Now, when it comes to a restroom, women's restrooms, you got stalls. They got doors. Okay? I mean, for all intents and purposes, there is a level of privacy in the same room. You can have 20 men and women in there. Nobody is seeing the other person actually dropping trow.
But we would be able to prove that women fart.
And their shit does stink. Now, when it comes to a locker room, however, or the locker room showers, different story. And now I'm not trying to pick on those people that are transgender. They do identify, with the other side, because for them it's not a sexual thing. It's not a perversion. It's not trying to get one over on the system. This is an accommodation that they want to have, which I don't have a problem with. The problem I have is, how do we filter out the people that are truly that way and the people that are just exploiting the system? Okay, it's already been proven that the system has been exploited. Now, what really pissed me off was this woman called to the radio, and she went on a whole rant about how, I don't get why this is even an issue. Whatever you choose is what you choose. Your choices are your choices. And all this really is this is just showing everybody's ignorance. I'm like, whoa, what? And even the guy on the radio turned and said, excuse me, ma'am? are you calling me ignorant because of my viewpoint on this? And she's like, well, no, not so much you, but the point of view. I mean, anybody that thinks that just because a man wants to say that he identifies as a woman, it's inappropriate for him to be in a girl's locker room, that's just showing how ignorant you are to his, to the way he is. And I tell you, turn around and say, and that shows how ignorant you are to the way that I am. Because guess what? It's not that I'm ashamed of my body, but you know what? If I'm getting changed in the freaking locker room after working out, I really don't want to be seeing a woman snatch right next to me, bending over all stinky and sweaty. Okay, that's not, I mean, I don't want to see a guy's ass either, but, at least I'm kind of prepared for that a little bit.
Yeah, but it also goes to a safety measure.
We're so worried about offending that side. Hey, guess what? You're offending me. Where are my rights? What happened to my rights? What happened to my right to be comfortable?
No, because it opposes with their idealism.
How did I lose my rights? I lost my rights because I'm being, I guess now I can't even say that I'm normal, right? Because that would be signaling them as being abnormal.
Here's the problem with liberals that they don't understand. They like to quote about people's rights. Your rights end when it interferes with my rights. Your constitutional rights end. Your free speech ends when it interferes with my free speech, when it interferes with my civil rights. But the liberals don't want to see it that way. All they care about is their viewpoint and their viewpoint only.
Now, when it comes to the freedom of speech, specifically, okay, my freedom of speech ends when it offends you. Your freedom of speech ends when it offends me. No, it doesn't. It will continue. It's called a debate.
But what I'm talking about, when your freedom of speech stops my freedom of speech, as what happened in Chicago, that they caused such an issue, they called a safety issue that caused the stoppage. Whoever decided, they were the direct cause of the stoppage because of safety. They were infringing on his First Amendment rights at that point. I'm not talking being offended, because being offended is not an excuse. You get offended, get a thicker skin. With that, unfortunately, that is the show. I'm telling you, we're going to have to expand.
How many colleges are doing this whole safe space thing now?
No, I did that today, and one of them's hiring more counselors and all that. All right, we're going to have to get going, and remember...
Hold on, real quick, before we go. Did they actually call in counselors to counsel the students that were traumatized because somebody wrote Trump 2016 on a chalkboard?
Yeah. Yep. They were traumatized.
That's our tax dollars at work.
That's a bunch of pussies. All right, we got to get going, because up next is Ken the Conservative. You're listening to the Reaver After Dark show. I had it all day. Perfect. Reaver After Dark with your hosts, Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Crash. Remember, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Reaver of Common Sense every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here again on SHR Media and HP Pundit Radio. Till next week. But I'll see everybody tomorrow.
Good.
You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.